Take off that hat, or you'll have to leave," Maya Reed said, her voice firm but laced with tension. The bright red letters on the man's cap seemed to mock her resolve. Jason Grant stood his ground, his calm demeanor a stark contrast to the charged atmosphere around him. "And what policy am I breaking exactly?" he asked, his voice measured yet steady, as if daring her to justify her demand. The hum of the treadmills and clang of weights faded into the background. Eyes turned toward the escalating scene near the cardio area. Maya, just 21 and fiercely protective of the gym's safe space, felt the pressure mounting. She squared her shoulders. "This isn't about policies. It's about respect. That hat, it makes people uncomfortable. If you care about this community, you'd take it off." Jason tilted his head slightly, his piercing gaze meeting hers. "I'm here for a workout, not a debate," he replied, "and I'm not taking it off." Before Maya could respond, Rachel Carter, the gym's no-nonsense manager, appeared by her side. Taking in Jason's hat, her expression hardened. "Sir," she said curtly, "we need to maintain an inclusive environment. I'm asking you one last time to remove the hat or leave." Jason's eyes flickered with a hint of disappointment. He grabbed his gym bag and nodded, but not before issuing a parting remark that sent a chill down their spines. "You're going to regret this." With that, he turned and walked out, leaving Maya and Rachel exchanging smug glances, unaware of the storm brewing behind the scenes. But who was this man? And why had he walked away so calmly? The answer was something neither Maya nor Rachel could have imagined, and it was about to change their lives forever. Buckle up, because this story is just getting started. Jason Grant wasn't just another gym-goer. As the owner of PeakFit, a thriving chain of fitness centers, he had spent years building a reputation for fairness, integrity, and vision. His decision to buy PeakFit came from a personal desire to create a space where everyone, regardless of their background or beliefs, could pursue their fitness goals without judgment. But today, in that bright, bustling gym, he had witnessed something that shook the very foundation of what he stood for. The truth was, Jason's red hat wasn't chosen to provoke. It was a gift from his late father, a man who had taught him the value of perseverance in the face of adversity. To Jason, it symbolized determination, not division. He hadn't anticipated it would spark such a heated reaction in the very gym he now owned. But his calm demeanor during the confrontation wasn't just composure, it was strategy. He needed to see how the staff handled challenges before he stepped into his role as their boss. Meanwhile, inside the gym, Maya Reed leaned against the counter at the front desk, her adrenaline still pumping from the encounter. To her, the man with the red hat was a representation of everything she had worked to keep out of PeakFit: divisiveness, tension, and discomfort for the members. Maya was fiercely passionate about maintaining the gym as a safe and inclusive space. Raised in a household where activism was a way of life, she saw it as her duty to confront anything that might disrupt the harmony she valued so deeply. Beside her stood Rachel Carter, the manager of this PeakFit branch. At 32, Rachel had earned a reputation for her strict leadership style and unwavering support for her team. She had backed Maya without hesitation, believing she was protecting the gym's inclusive environment. But Rachel's confidence came from a place of pride and perhaps unchecked bias. She didn't bother to ask who Jason was or why he wore the hat. To her, it didn't matter. She was the one in charge, and she believed she had handled the situation correctly. The gym itself was a hub of energy. Members of all ages and fitness levels filled the space, their conversations and movements creating a vibrant atmosphere. From the clanging of weights in the corner to the steady rhythm of feet pounding on treadmills, PeakFit pulsed with life. Yet beneath the surface of its friendly, high-energy environment lay unspoken tensions and assumptions waiting for the right moment to bubble over. As Jason left the parking lot that day, his mind was clear. He had seen enough. The staff's actions didn't align with the values he envisioned for PeakFit, and it was time to set things straight. He picked up his phone and called Ethan Clark, the regional director. "We need to talk," Jason said simply. "I'll be at the gym first thing tomorrow morning. Let's address this head-on." Unaware of what was coming, Maya and Rachel carried on with their day, convinced they had done the right thing. But the next morning, when Jason walked back into Peakfit, this time with Ethan at his side, their world was about to be turned upside down. When Jason returned, the truth about who he really was would leave Rachel and Maya speechless. And the decisions they had made would lead to consequences neither of them could have foreseen. The next morning, the usual hum of activity filled Peakfit Gym. Members stretched in the yoga studio, trainers coached clients near the free weights, and the faint scent of disinfectant hung in the air as the cleaning crew finished their rounds. Maya was at the front desk, scrolling through her phone between greeting members, while Rachel was in her office, preparing for the upcoming staff meeting. For them, it was just another day. Then the front doors swung open, and in walked Jason Grant, this time not in workout gear, but in a sharp blazer and dark jeans. His confident stride was matched by the presence of another man, a tall, imposing figure with a clipboard in hand. It was Ethan Clark, the regional director of Peakfit. Maya froze when she saw Jason, her stomach tightening. "It's him," she muttered under her breath, the memory of yesterday's confrontation flooding back. Jason met her eyes briefly, but didn't say a word as he and Ethan walked past the desk. Rachel emerged from her office, curious about the commotion. She frowned when she saw the two men heading toward the conference room, but quickly plastered on her professional smile. "Good morning. Can I help you?" she called out, her tone cheerful but guarded. Ethan turned to face her, his expression serious. "Rachel, we need to talk. Please join us in the conference room. And bring Maya with you." Rachel's stomach flipped. Ethan's tone left no room for pleasantries, and Jason's quiet presence unnerved her. She nodded stiffly, motioning for Maya to follow. Together they entered the conference room, the weight of uncertainty settling over them like a heavy fog. Jason remained standing at the head of the table, while Ethan took a seat, flipping open his clipboard. Rachel and Maya sat down opposite them, their expressions a mix of confusion and unease. "Let me get straight to the point," Ethan began, his voice crisp. "Yesterday, there was an incident involving a member, Mr. Grant here. I've been informed of how it was handled, and frankly, I'm extremely disappointed." Rachel's eyes widened as she turned to Jason. The realization hit her like a punch to the gut. "Mr. Grant?" she repeated, her voice barely above a whisper. Jason's steady gaze met hers. "Yes, Jason Grant, owner of Peakfit." The room fell silent. Rachel's mind raced as the weight of his words sank in. Maya's mouth opened slightly in shock, her cheeks burning with embarrassment. The man they had confronted, the man they had asked to leave, wasn't just another gym member. He was their boss. Jason's voice broke the silence, calm yet authoritative. "I came here yesterday to see how things were running. I wanted to observe the culture without any filters. What I experienced was disappointing, to say the least." Rachel tried to recover, her voice shaky. "Mr. Grant, I didn't realize. If I had known who you were." Jason raised a hand, cutting her off. "Who I am shouldn't matter. It shouldn't take my position as owner for me, or anyone else, to be treated with respect." Maya shifted uncomfortably in her chair, her usual confidence evaporating under Jason's unflinching gaze. "I thought I was protecting the gym," she said quietly, barely able to meet his eyes. "I didn't mean to disrespect you." Jason leaned forward slightly, his tone softening but still firm. "I don't doubt your intentions, Maya, but your approach was wrong. You didn't ask questions. You didn't try to understand who I was or why I was there. You made an assumption based on a piece of clothing, and that assumption led to a decision that could have alienated not just me, but other members as well." Ethan cleared his throat and addressed Rachel directly. "As the manager, it's your responsibility to ensure situations like this are handled professionally. Instead, you escalated it. You backed a decision without confirming whether it aligned with our policies or values." Rachel's face turned pale, her voice trembling as she tried to explain. "I thought I was doing what was best for the members, ensuring a safe and inclusive environment." Jason nodded slowly. "I understand the importance of inclusivity, but what you did wasn't inclusive, it was exclusionary. You assumed that because my hat made you or others uncomfortable, I didn't belong. That kind of thinking doesn't align with what PeakFit stands for." The weight of his words hung in the air, and Rachel lowered her gaze, knowing there was nothing she could say to justify her actions. After a moment, Jason continued. "Rachel, as the manager, you set the tone for this gym. Your decisions directly impact the culture here. Yesterday you showed me that you're not aligned with the values I want this business to uphold. Effective immediately, your employment is terminated." Rachel's eyes filled with tears as she nodded, unable to argue. "I understand," she whispered. Jason turned to Maya, who was visibly shaken. "Maya, you're young. You have potential, and I believe you can learn from this. That's why I'm giving you a second chance. But it comes with conditions. You'll need to complete a comprehensive training program on customer service and inclusivity. If you pass, you can stay on the team. If not, we'll have to part ways." Maya swallowed hard, her voice barely audible. "Thank you for giving me another chance. I won't let you down." Jason stood, signaling the end of the meeting. "This isn't just about yesterday. It's about what kind of environment we're building here. Moving forward, things will change. This gym will be a place where everyone feels welcome, without exception." As Rachel gathered her belongings and left the building for the last time, Maya lingered in the conference room, her thoughts racing. She felt a mixture of relief, regret, and determination. This wasn't how she had envisioned her day going, but she knew she had been given an opportunity to grow, a chance she wasn't going to waste. Jason and Ethan left the conference room together, their conversation shifting to the next steps for implementing broader changes across the chain. Jason's mind was clear. This was just the beginning. The next week at PeakFit Gym marked the beginning of a transformation. Jason Grant, now fully stepping into his role as the owner, knew he had a monumental task ahead of him. The incident with Rachel and Maya wasn't just a one-time mistake, it was a symptom of deeper issues in the gym's culture. If he wanted to rebuild trust with both staff and members, he needed to act decisively. Jason called a mandatory staff meeting, gathering everyone in the main gym area after closing hours. The energy in the room was tense, the employees exchanging uncertain glances as they waited for him to speak. Standing in front of the group, Jason projected a calm yet commanding presence. Beside him was Ethan Clark, who had helped draft the new policies they were about to announce. "Thank you all for being here," Jason began, his voice steady. "By now, most of you heard about the incident last week. Let me make one thing clear. It wasn't just about me or a red hat. It was about the values this gym is supposed to stand for and how far we've strayed from them." The staff shifted uncomfortably, some looking at their feet, others nodding slightly. "This gym," Jason continued, his tone firm, "should be a place where everyone feels welcome, regardless of their background, beliefs, or appearance. And yet, what I saw last week was the opposite of that. Moving forward, things will change." Jason gestured toward Ethan, who stepped forward with a clipboard in hand. "To start," Ethan said, "we're implementing mandatory training for every staff member on customer service, inclusivity, and professionalism. This isn't just a one-time session, it's an ongoing process. We'll be holding quarterly reviews to ensure these values are being upheld." A murmur rippled through the group. While some employees looked worried, others appeared relieved that action was being taken. "We're also introducing a new respect and inclusivity policy," Jason added, his voice cutting through the chatter. "It'll be posted in every gym, and it's non-negotiable. Every member and staff member will be treated with respect. If anyone feels otherwise, they'll have access to an anonymous feedback system to report their concerns directly to us." Maya, standing toward the back of the group, felt a pang of guilt as Jason spoke. His words were a stark reminder of how she had failed to live up to the very principles he was now emphasizing. She glanced at the faces of her colleagues, wondering if they were silently judging her. Jason scanned the room, his gaze firm but not unkind. "I know this might feel like a lot of change all at once," he said, softening his tone slightly. "But change is necessary. I believe in this gym, and I believe in all of you. Together, we can make this a place we're proud to work at, a place where every member feels like they belong." As the meeting ended, employees lingered in small groups, discussing the new policies. Some expressed concerns about how the changes would affect their day-to-day responsibilities, while others felt inspired by Jason's vision. Maya stayed behind, debating whether to approach Jason. Finally, she gathered the courage to walk up to him. "Mr. Grant," she began hesitantly, "I just wanted to say, thank you for giving me another chance. I know I messed up, but I'm ready to learn. I want to do better." Jason looked at her, his expression thoughtful. "Maya, I appreciate that. Growth isn't about never making mistakes. It's about learning from them. You have potential, and I'm glad you're willing to put in the effort. Just remember, it's not about proving something to me. It's about the members and the environment we create for them." Maya nodded, her resolve strengthening. "I won't let you down," she said quietly. The following weeks were a whirlwind of change. Staff members attended training sessions led by professionals in inclusivity and customer service. Maya, initially hesitant, found herself deeply engaged in the discussions. She began to see how her own biases had influenced her actions and started to think more critically about how to approach challenging situations. One afternoon, a chance encounter put Maya's newfound understanding to the test. A man walked into the gym wearing a shirt with a bold political slogan. Maya noticed a few members glancing uneasily at him, their expressions mirroring the discomfort she had felt when she first saw Jason's hat. Taking a deep breath, Maya approached the man, not with confrontation, but with a welcoming smile. "Hi there. Welcome to PeakFit," she said. "Is this your first time here? Can I help you get started?" The man seemed surprised, but nodded. "Yeah, I'm new here. Thanks for asking." As she showed him around, Maya realized something important. By choosing to treat him with kindness and respect, she had diffused any potential tension. It wasn't about agreeing with him, it was about making him feel valued as a member of the community. Jason, watching from a distance, felt a surge of pride. He could see the change in Maya and knew it was a sign that the gym was heading in the right direction. But not everyone embraced the changes so easily. Some staff members grumbled about the new policies, and one even threatened to quit, claiming the rules were too restrictive. Jason handled the resistance calmly, reminding the team that the policies weren't about control, they were about creating a better experience for everyone. By the end of the month, the atmosphere at PeakFit had noticeably shifted. Members began commenting on the positive energy in the gym. "It feels different here," one woman told her trainer. "More welcoming, I guess. Like they actually care about us." Jason heard similar feedback through the anonymous surveys and took every comment to heart. He knew there was still work to be done, but the progress was undeniable. One evening, as he locked up the gym after hours, Jason paused to reflect on everything that had happened. The journey hadn't been easy, but it had been worth it. Change was never simple, but when it was driven by a commitment to fairness and respect, it had the power to transform not just a business, but the people within it. The changes at PeakFit were gaining momentum, but beneath the surface, not everyone was on board. Resistance from unexpected places threatened to derail Jason's vision. And just when it seemed like the gym was finally turning a corner, an unforeseen challenge emerged, putting everything Jason had worked for to the ultimate test. Could the newfound unity withstand the cracks beginning to form? Or would old habits and hidden tensions bring everything crashing down? Stay tuned, because what happens next will shake the foundation of PeakFit in ways no one could have anticipated. As PeakFit began its journey toward transformation, the changes Jason had envisioned started to take root. Maya, determined to prove herself, threw herself into the training sessions with a level of focus and introspection that surprised even her. She began to see the flaws in her assumptions and the damage that unchecked biases could cause, not just to members but to the entire culture of the gym. During one of the training exercises, the instructor posed a scenario: Imagine a member walks in wearing something you strongly disagree with. What's your first instinct? And how do you respond in a way that upholds our values? Maya raised her hand, her voice clear but thoughtful. I think my first instinct would still be discomfort. But now I understand that my feelings shouldn't dictate my actions. I'd focus on welcoming them, making them feel comfortable, and ensuring they have the same positive experience as everyone else. The instructor nodded. That's the kind of response we're aiming for. It's not about ignoring our feelings, it's about choosing how we act despite them. Jason, who had quietly joined the back of the session, smiled as he listened. Maya was growing, not just as an employee but as a person, and he knew she was on the right track. At the same time, Jason was busy implementing broader changes to reinforce the gym's culture. The respect and inclusivity policy, prominently displayed near the entrance, became a symbol of the gym's new direction. Members were encouraged to provide feedback, both positive and constructive, through the anonymous suggestion system. One day, Jason received a note that caught his attention. "Thank you for creating a space where I feel seen. I've always felt out of place at gyms, but this one feels different. Please keep it up." The message resonated with him deeply. It was a reminder of why he had taken on this challenge in the first place. Maya's redemption arc took a pivotal turn one afternoon when a new member, Alex, walked into the gym. Alex was a tall man in his 30s, wearing a bold shirt with a political slogan that immediately drew the attention of a few other members. Maya noticed the uneasy glances and felt a flicker of her old instincts. But instead of letting discomfort guide her actions, she approached Alex with a warm smile. "Hi there, welcome to PeakFit. Is this your first time here? Let me show you around." Alex hesitated for a moment before smiling back. "Yeah, it's my first time, thanks." As they walked through the gym, Maya explained the different areas, her tone friendly and professional. She made sure to ask about his fitness goals and how she could help him get started. By the end of the tour, Alex seemed at ease, his initial hesitation replaced with enthusiasm. Jason, observing from a distance, felt a surge of pride. It was a small moment, but it represented a significant shift. Maya wasn't just following a script, she was embodying the values he had worked so hard to instill. Not everyone embraced the changes as readily as Maya. Some staff members resisted, grumbling about the additional training sessions and stricter policies. One trainer even threatened to quit, claiming the new rules stifled their freedom. Jason handled these challenges with a steady hand, meeting with each employee individually to address their concerns and reinforce the importance of the changes. "There's always a choice," Jason told one resistant staff member. "You can choose to grow with us, or you can move on. But this gym will not compromise on respect and inclusivity. That's non-negotiable." The gym's members, however, were beginning to notice the difference. One long-time member, Grace, approached the front desk after her workout. "I just wanted to say thank you," she told Maya. "The atmosphere here feels so much better than it used to. It's like people actually care now." Maya's face lit up with a mixture of pride and relief. "Thank you for saying that. It means a lot." The feedback wasn't all positive, though. Some members still expressed frustration with certain changes, like stricter rules around conduct and attire. Jason took every comment seriously, using the feedback to fine-tune the policies and ensure they struck the right balance. As weeks turned into months, the changes at PeakFit became more visible. The staff began working as a cohesive team, supporting each other and treating members with genuine care. Maya emerged as a leader among her peers, often stepping in to help new employees navigate challenging situations. One evening, as the gym buzzed with activity, Jason called Maya into his office. "I just wanted to say I've noticed your growth," he said, leaning back in his chair. "You've taken this opportunity and turned it into something incredible. I'm proud of you." Maya felt a lump in her throat. "Thank you, Mr. Grant. I've learned so much, and I want to keep improving. This gym, it's more than just a job now. It feels like a community." Jason smiled. "That's exactly what I hoped for. Keep it up." It was a quiet Wednesday afternoon when the storm hit. Not a literal one, but the kind that shakes foundations. Jason was in his office reviewing member feedback forms when his assistant knocked on the door, her expression tense. "Jason, there's a situation," she said hesitantly. Jason set down his pen. "What kind of situation?" "It's better if you see for yourself." When Jason stepped into the main gym area, he immediately noticed the tension. A man, tall and muscular, was arguing with one of the trainers near the weightlifting section. His voice carried across the room, loud enough to draw the attention of other members, who exchanged uneasy glances. "I don't care what your policy says," the man snapped, his tone defiant. "This is a free country, and I'll wear whatever I damn well please." Jason's eyes moved to the man's shirt, emblazoned with a symbol that had sparked debates and protests nationwide. It wasn't just a shirt, it was a statement, a polarizing one. The trainer, Jake, looked visibly uncomfortable. "Sir, I'm not asking you to leave," Jake said, trying to keep his voice calm. "I'm just saying we want to make sure everyone feels comfortable here." "Maybe—" The man cut him off. "Comfortable? Are you kidding me? If they're uncomfortable, that's their problem, not mine." Jason stepped forward, his calm presence immediately drawing the man's attention. "What's going on here?" he asked, his tone firm but steady. The man turned to him, his posture defensive. "What's going on is your staff is harassing me because of my shirt. You can't tell me what I can and can't wear." Jason nodded slowly, taking a moment to assess the situation. He glanced at Jake, who looked relieved to have backup, and then at the surrounding members, many of whom had paused their workouts to watch. The atmosphere was thick with tension. "I understand your frustration," Jason began, his voice even. "And you're right, this is a free country. But this gym is also a community, and part of being in a community is respecting the people around you. Let's step aside and talk about this calmly." The man hesitated, then nodded reluctantly. Jason led him toward the lobby, away from the crowd. In the quieter space, Jason gestured for the man to sit, then took a seat across from him. "I want to understand your perspective," Jason said. "Tell me what's on your mind." The man sighed, some of his anger dissipating. "I'm just tired of people acting like I'm a bad guy because of what I believe. I come here to work out, not to get judged." Jason nodded thoughtfully. "I get that, and I'm sorry if you felt judged today. That's not what we want for anyone here." He paused, choosing his words carefully. "But I also have to consider the experience of all our members. It's a fine line, allowing everyone to express themselves while ensuring the space feels welcoming for everyone. That's why we focus on respect above all else." The man frowned, but didn't interrupt. Jason continued, "I'm not asking you to change who you are or what you believe. All I'm asking is that we all make choices that foster respect and inclusion. That might mean being mindful of how our actions, or even our clothing, impact those around us." For a moment, the man said nothing, his expression softening as he considered Jason's words. Finally, he nodded. "I guess I can see where you're coming from. I'll think about it." Jason smiled, extending a hand. "That's all I ask. Thank you for being willing to have this conversation." The man shook his hand, then left the gym quietly. Jason let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. Later that evening, as the staff gathered for their daily debrief, Jason shared the incident with them. "This was a reminder of how important our values are," he said. "There will always be challenges, moments when it feels easier to let things slide or avoid confrontation. But we can't lose sight of what we're building here. It's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent." Maya, who had listened intently, raised her hand. "I think what you did today was a perfect example of how to handle something like that. You didn't escalate it, but you didn't ignore it either. It showed respect on both sides." Jason gave her a grateful nod. "Thanks, Maya. And remember, this isn't just about me. It's about all of us. Every interaction we have with a member is an opportunity to embody the values we stand for." Over the next few days, word of Jason's handling of the situation spread among the staff and members. Some praised his approach, calling it a masterclass in de-escalation. Others questioned whether it was fair to ask members to tone down their self-expression. Jason welcomed the feedback, knowing it was part of the ongoing process of growth. He encouraged open dialogue, inviting staff and members to share their thoughts during monthly town hall meetings. But amidst the challenges, there were also moments of triumph. One longtime member, who had previously felt out of place at the gym, approached Jason after a session. "I just wanted to say thank you," she said, "for creating a space where I feel like I matter. It's made all the difference." Jason smiled, his resolve strengthening. "That's what we're here for," he replied. The gym wasn't perfect, no community ever was, but step by step, interaction by interaction, it was becoming a place where respect and inclusion weren't just words on a poster, they were lived experiences. And Jason knew that as long as they stayed true to those values, they could overcome whatever challenges lay ahead. Weeks turned into months, and the transformation of PeakFit Gym became undeniable. The once tense environment had evolved into a space where respect, inclusion, and community thrived. Jason Grant's vision wasn't just a goal anymore. It was a reality taking shape in every corner of the gym. Maya Reed had come a long way since the day she confronted Jason about his red hat. Her growth wasn't just professional but deeply personal. The training sessions, the challenges, and Jason's steady guidance had reshaped her perspective. She had become a mentor to newer staff members, often reminding them of the importance of empathy and understanding. One afternoon, Maya found herself training a new hire, a young man named Liam. As she explained the importance of treating every member with respect, she paused and said, "You know, when I first started here, I made some big mistakes. I judged someone without really knowing who they were. But what I've learned is that our job isn't to judge, it's to support. If you can remember that, you'll do just fine." Liam nodded, absorbing her words. Thanks, Maya. That actually makes a lot of sense." Jason, who had overheard the exchange from his office, felt a deep sense of pride. Maya wasn't just an employee anymore, she was a leader, someone who embodied the values he had worked so hard to instill. The members of the gym also felt the difference. Grace, a regular at PeakFit, approached Jason one evening as he was tidying up the front desk. "Jason, I just wanted to say thank you. The energy here, it's completely different from when I first joined. I feel like this is a place where I truly belong." Jason smiled warmly. "That means the world to me, Grace. It's what we've been working toward." But not all changes were met without resistance. Some former members and even a few past employees criticized the new policies, calling them overly strict or unnecessary. Jason acknowledged their concerns, but remained steadfast in his commitment to the gym's mission. "Change is never easy," he told the staff during a team meeting. "But when it's rooted in fairness and respect, it's always worth it. We're not just running a gym, we're building a community." The highlight of PeakFit's transformation came during its first annual Member Appreciation Day, an event Jason organized to celebrate the people who made the gym more than just a fitness center. There were group classes, nutrition workshops, and even a small awards ceremony to recognize both staff and members who had gone above and beyond. During the event, Maya was called to the stage to receive the Rising Leader Award, a new category Jason had created. As she accepted the plaque, her voice trembled slightly with emotion. "I never thought I'd be standing here today," she began. "When I first started at PeakFit, I made mistakes, big ones. But Jason and this team gave me the chance to learn and grow. This gym isn't just a place to work or work out. It's a place where people can become their best selves, and I'm proud to be part of that journey." The crowd erupted in applause, and Jason couldn't help but smile. He knew this moment wasn't just about Maya, it was about everything they had built together. As the event wound down and the last of the decorations were packed away, Jason took a moment to reflect. The gym wasn't perfect. There would always be new challenges, new conflicts, and new opportunities to learn. But it was thriving, and more importantly, it was a place where people felt seen, heard, and valued. Standing by the front doors, Jason looked out at the fading sunlight and thought about the journey that had brought them here. The red hat that had once sparked conflict now sat in his office, a quiet reminder of how far they'd come. Turning back to lock up for the night, he smiled to himself. The future of Peakfit was bright, and he was ready to face whatever came next. And there you have it, the story of transformation, redemption, and the power of respect. What did you think of this journey at Peakfit Gym? Did it inspire you, or did it spark a memory of your own? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and share your perspective. Was there a particular moment in the story that stood out to you? Let us know. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video. It really helps us bring more inspiring tales like this one to you. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update from Elderly Wisdom.